It is time to check the levels.
Ta-da-da-da.
Oh, levels.
Levels.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Oh. Do we have to check the levels now because Bass is so totally deterred?
Wait, what?
Oh, nothing. Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Are we checking Legos?
Levels,
Yes.
levels. Checkity, check, check, check.
Okay, I will mute myself. Gorge, can you talk again?
I am talking at a normal voice. I will probably be louder than I am now when I get into a heated discussion.
All right, guys, I think we're sounding pretty good.
Talkity, talk, talk, talk.
Okay, cool. So, it's a podcast, you guys. And you know who it
Finally.
is. Our one listener. We have
You know what's up.
Oh yes. We have Arcadius. He's in Minecraft with me in a different state. And then Vast
The
Empires
mind.
is here. Only a voice in my head because she's not in Minecraft right now and also in a different state. And I am Scorch. And well, what should I say? I am broadcasting from the land of urinals that contain cup holders.
Okay, that's a new one.
Really?
Really?
Yeah?
Well, you should come on down!
Yeah, come on down. Yeah, the Rudy's in Georgetown has urinals that have cup holders.
I just.
It's the wave of the
sanitation
future.
issues.
It's a lot to process, I know. Oh man. But anyway, we should probably get to what our podcast is going to be about, right? Like it's not going to be about porcelain.
No,
We
not at all.
have obtained, along with everybody else on the internet, uh, some tasty new PlayStation 5 stuff. We don't have a price, but we have a lot of other things. A lot of video game announcements.
Images.
We have images of what the PlayStation 5 looks like. We know that it's going to be friggin' gigondo. It's probably going to break my glass table that my TV sets on. So, par for the course, right? Where should we start? We
Yerp.
have a lot of things to talk about. There's a new Ratchet and Clank. There's a new Spider-Man. They showed off Horizon Forbidden West. They dropped the Zero Dawn. I guess that was the subtitle for the first one.
Still calling it that.
Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. Electric Boogaloo.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. I'm a bit disappointed in one thing.
What?
They didn't tell us a price. There's a lot of
You know,
speculation
though-
going on about what the price is going to be.
All right, so here's my speculation
Hit it.
zone on why they didn't say what the price is right now is because people are in a mode of cinching the purse up, if you will, economic tensions and states of which people are not quite readily available to just go throw down money. Now that is excluding the gamers that will unequivocally purchase it, no matter how poor they are, no matter how the economy is, they be buying it. We're excluding those people. Talking about the
Yes.
general masses and the perception of the general masses and how well it's to be received.
I mean, that's
I
not
think
a
they're
bad
just
idea.
kind of waiting on. I think they're waiting on COVID to bring the economy to a point, or maybe not COVID to do it, but for the economy to be brought to a point where it's like, we don't care, we're opening the economy back up full swing, and people are going to start spending money sort of like normal again, then they'll drop the price.
Well, they're gonna have to wait a really long time because COVID ain't going nowhere.
I know, and that's partly why they've postponed it and delayed it, and they're probably just trying to soften it as much as they can because it's probably going to be kind of pricey given the internal specs of stuff they intend to cram in it.
Yes, it's huge, and
It's sizable. Like
yes,
it's full-blown PC size now. Like
it's
they
pre-
can't get away from that.
it's fairly large, and I don't remember who said it, but it was somebody that was working on the specs of the PlayStation 5. But one of the reasons that they listed for the PS5 being so large is its cooling power. They shoved so many fans in there that if it didn't have a case, it would probably take off and fly around your room.
And I would pay extra for that feature.
You'd have to like
The
tether
play
it
and
to your
hover,
desk.
the play and hover.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, that's how
So
you know when your gaming's getting intense. Like, oh man, she's lifted a full foot off the desk on the tether now. We're chooching full steam on this one.
so my question is, guys,
Yes.
what do you think the price is going to be?
I think the one with a CD drive, which is going to be their most pricey one, is probably going to be a whopping $590.
$5.90. You're not adding
Like,
the extra $9 and say it's $5.99?
yeah, sure, $599. I think it's going to be $599, simply because of how much there is, and the non-CD drive one will probably be, I'm guessing, $100 less, so $499.
Hmm.
The
So,
all-digital version.
so the
And
range that I've been seeing on the interwebs is between $4.99 and $5.99. So that's pretty where everybody else is thinking. And
Hmm.
honestly, I wanna put it there also.
hmm
What do you think, Vass? You've been quiet so far the last 2 minutes.
Oh no, I'm just thinking that I am putting it in that same price range. There had been rumors already that the price at a GameStop in some gaming distribution center in like Vancouver had it priced at 450.
That's kind of cheap, honestly.
And that's what and then someone said that no, it's going to be like right at the $300 mark. Or not $300 mark, I'm sorry, right at the $400 mark. But now knowing that there's going to be two different ones, I really do think that the most expensive version is going to be 500, and then the other one will be either 400 or 450, um, depending on how much hard drive you give it,
I
Yeah,
guess that's true. I didn't take into account they could have different hard drive tiers of the two models.
yeah, that's true.
And so here's the thing, I kind of hope they do, because I want to get the biggest, fattest hard drive in there, so I can have more
So
than 5 games in here at any given
that probably
time.
tells me the terabyte will probably be the high-end one.
What if a terabyte size hard drive or SSD, since they're going SSD this time,
Yeah.
is the standard and they have a larger hard
I will
drive?
absolutely buy the larger because if these games are going to start running 4K, you best believe they're going to be hogs and they're going to be huge.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So the new games of that console generation, because of the power, you're going to have to store and pre-render all that data to a certain extent, and I absolutely believe that they're going to go hog wild with. It's the same thing like when Windows doesn't update, it just balloons bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same thing with games nowadays. Like when they do updates, when they do new developments, they're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's my thinking.
Can definitely see where you're coming from with that. Ugh.
Again, anything that lets me have more than 5 or 6 games at any given time on this lovely machine is going to get the most of my dollars.
Well, let me tell you this, lady and gentlemen. Uh, my gaming PC, which I have assembled less than a year ago has a 1 terabyte SSD specifically for games. I have a completely other SSD for the OS and all that other crap. One is specifically for games, my G drive, games drive. And
Clever.
it's already half full.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
1 terabyte? She's already half full?
She's already
Yeah.
half full. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Then I'm going to go with multi. You're probably right. The 1 will be the standard, and something maybe like 3 will be 2 or 3. I'd only see them maybe going a max of 2 terabytes. But with the asterisk of, but if you want more, here's the drive type it is to swap
If
it
you
out.
want more. Well, the
Yeah.
PS4s are already modular, so
So why wouldn't the 5 be?
yeah, exactly.
So I definitely see them pulling a.
Oh,
Well, since y'all are going to want to change this a little anyways, this is what it is.
yeah. 1, 2. Trying to remember how to make an iron golem. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Let's make 5. Sorry, I'm off in my own little world right now, my Minecraft world. Uh,
So here's the thing that really bugs me though. I would absolutely go for the digital only edition with no CD drive
mhm.
if it's confirmed PS5 is not backwards compatible.
Um,
Because if it is, I'd be able to use some of my old CDs from my older games, in which case I would want the CD drive.
And
However,
I think that's why that's why they have the. I think this is, to me, this is going to be the last PS iteration of a PlayStation game with a drive, and they
okay.
put the drive in there specifically to help people who have the PS4
bridge the
right now
gap.
make the decision. Yeah, to bridge that gap.
Well, I
And we won't
have
see it again after this.
I have for many, many years continued to incessantly ask you guys when are they gonna drop the drive out of it, the optical drive, and looks like it might be
I think you've got your answer.
soon-ish, right?
Quite.
Within the next 10 years, yeah.
That's soon-ish, right?
Yeah, actually. I mean, technically. Oh, man, we'll be in our 40s.
I mean, some will be in our 40s.
I know.
I'm the young one, you guys.
You whippersnapper.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's depressing. Anyway, it's for the shorties, y'all.
there it is. Iron Golem. Welcome to the world, my friend. Um, so can we talk about the design of this PS5 right quick?
We most certainly can,
And
because unlike
why?
half the internet, I love it.
Well, I don't
Really?
mind
Half
it.
the internet doesn't like it? Sorry,
Fast.
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Scorch. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna talk about why they decided to model the PlayStation 5 after the giant coat of Seto Kaiba, but
Yes. Doesn't it look like a villain's cape where the collar comes up super high and popped?
oh yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah. I mean,
It's got style, it's got pizzazz.
I'm not mad about
Pizzazz.
it at all. And Vast gets her wish in that it's not a black console.
At
It's got a lot of
launch.
white. The whole thing is cloaked in white.
But Vast, I still need to bring it around to our pre-podcast discussion about why exactly you're getting exactly what you want in that the console is blue and white,
Mm-hmm.
but
Blue, black, and white.
you still want there to be an iteration that is black?
At launch, I would really appreciate if there was a all black PS5 iteration for two reasons. One, so my internet, like, not mentions, but alerts can stop going on and on about all these people who are posting mock-ups of it.
So you just want the chaff on the internet to quiet down.
Yes. And to because I still remember the launches of the PS2 and the PS3 and the PS4, and how quickly a lot of them like sold out at pre-order due to either people purchasing multiple ones for friends, families, or just to sell at premium prices. And if there was a secondary option at launch, it would just increase or decrease the likelihood of me not being able to get the white one that I want. It's
Okay.
all
So it hurt
selfish.
your
All right.
immediate pre-order chances, is what you're saying.
Hmm.
Oh
Okay.
man, that's gonna be a thing, you guys. Internet websites are gonna crash. Everybody's gonna be disgruntled. Like it's gonna be a thing. Because I remember when I pre-ordered my PS4. Oh
Oh,
my
what a
God,
cluster.
that was a total
Lord
cluster. Holy
Almighty.
shit, you
No one could
guys.
have been prepared for the amount of nonsense that was involved in getting a brand new PS4 in the first week it
Oh my
dropped.
gosh, yes. So, uh, quickly, I'm gonna run over it quickly. Uh, by the time that I actually had the time to sit down and pre-order my PlayStation 4, the only people that still had them were Walmart, and I pre-ordered it through Walmart.
Walmart.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it through Walmart, like a pleb,
Hmm.
and uh, everything was fine. Everything was fine. Everything was fine until about 2 weeks up until the PlayStation launch, and my bank had flagged the purchase as suspicious activity, so they blocked the transaction.
No more
No.
PS4.
And I had to like talk to the bank and talk to Walmart and make sure that the transaction went through, and it took like all day and when it really shouldn't have. And then like I had the transaction, I was taking a look at my receipts and all that, and it worked, right? And I got my PlayStation 4 in and I hooked it up, and I was one of the people that had the pulsing blue light of doom.
Yep.
Oh.
Broke right out of the box.
Yep, it luckily I was still in college at the time, and my town that uh, my university was in had a huge, and I mean huge, outlet mall that had a Sony store in it. So I went to the Sony store with my broken ass PlayStation as soon as I got back in town, and they exchanged it, no questions asked.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, they plugged it in
But
like
wait, there's more.
they there is more. They plugged it in to make sure it worked right there in the store, so they didn't hand me another lemon. Spoiler, they handed me another goddamn lemon, and I went on my way thinking everything was fine, but it wasn't fine.
Oh
And
no.
Dun dun dun.
like it worked for a little bit, right? Like a
Only a
week or
couple
so.
weeks.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that long.
And
We barely
then
got into one of the new battlefields before it ended up
yeah.
breaking again.
And without fail, every time I would play my PlayStation 4 with the good old Arcadius in Battlefield 4 had a very rough launch, and that's a completely different story. But every time, within about 30 minutes to an hour, my entire PlayStation would lock up and it would hum like there was something stuck in a fan, and the video would cut out and the audio would cut out, and I would have to hard power reset it before anything
Mm,
worked again.
mm.
And oh my God, that was the thing. And then I had to like go
But
through,
that only lasted so many times until the PlayStation went, yeah, I'm done doing that.
yeah, so I had to go through like Sony PlayStation support, and I had to explain my problem to them, and then they like sent me a box and I had to ship it out to them, and they sent me a new PlayStation, and that was the one I had until I got my PS4 Pro. So I've had four PlayStation 4s
Two of
this
them voluntary.
yes, this life cycle. So
Mm.
Huh.
hopefully this launch will be easier. At least on me. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
We shall
Oh,
soon see.
memories.
Yeah.
So we all saw the uh the broadcast, right? As a matter of fact, we all sat down and watched it at the same time. And I imagine we all have our favorite things to talk about,
Oh,
right?
yes.
And I think we need to cover those in this podcast. What do y'all say?
Do it.
Well, I think I'll give the floor to Vass so she can go first, because I think she needs a little bit of time to talk.
Okay. Well, I will go ahead and start by saying that I actually really enjoyed just the presentation itself. It was very stylish. You could tell they're motion designers and graphic designers, and all the designers were having a really good time. I hope they got a bonus because everything was crisp. Um, the coloring, like, I know it's just using those same um, PlayStation colors, the blue and the white and the black, but they did it in such a way that like it made me excited. Um, and I like the whole what I saw as a little like concept behind it of you're starting outside of the box, and then you have the history of the of PlayStation, and then you're starting outside of the box, and then you go inside of the box, and these are the things that make PlayStation, and it's the X, and it's the O, and it's a triangle, and it's a
And
square, you know.
Yeah.
So like I really was geeking out over that kind of stuff. The other thing that I really enjoyed about it is before we even talk about the games, is how I wasn't entirely sure if the some of the men who were talking about the games, and then the PlayStation, like I can't even remember their names right now, guys. I'm really sorry. I couldn't tell if they were quite real, and I know some of that is makeup, and some of that is like post production, like smoothing faces and stuff. But for a while there, I was thinking, are they showing off the power of the PlayStation right here? You know,
Well, Vast, I have news for you on that front.
they were all real.
No, they were all CG. Every one of them.
Oh, I thought they were.
Yeah, we even commented like, is that guy CG?
because there's
And
always some little tinge of lighting that really differentiates the CG from
yeah,
reality, and you can usually tell pretty easily.
just a
It
hint
was
of rubber, you know?
it was the skin for me, but
Yeah.
the hair is what fooled me, because that was some of the best hair I've ever seen. That
Yeah.
was like not granted by a doctor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. No, it was all CG. You remember in the beginning where they put up that disclaimer, everything has been captured in real time on a PlayStation 5 or whatever.
Mm,
That included all of the people that were talking. And
mm.
PlayStation has had a long lineage of showing off like facial maneuvers, for lack of a better term, with their tech. They've been doing that for every reveal since I think the original PlayStation. So they're just keeping the tradition alive. And boy, is it looking good.
I was very impressed with that. Okay, well, I mean, I thanks for letting me know that, Squish. I really didn't know. I thought I was just seeing things, but no, my eyes are that good. My eyes are that good. My
Well,
glasses are that good, rather.
But your eyes, they are.
yes.
Okay.
Oh,
The other thing that I really liked is that even for some of the games that I'm definitely not all that interested in, I like that they had the focus on, um, classics, new favorites, and then indie games. I thought it was really nice of them to showcase some really interesting indie games. Even Dinosaurs Are Going to Die at High School.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? Like
That
saying
was
goodbye to
weird.
Volcano High or something like that?
That was weird.
Was that the
I'm
name of
sorry.
that thing?
Yeah, that's pretty close to it. If not the exact name, yeah. Or bug
Or
snacks.
Bug Snacks? What
Bugs.
the
Okay,
fuck is
that
going
one
on?
weirded me right the hell out. I could not understand the why
I
on that
would
one.
not
Bug
listen.
snacks.
I would not for the life of me find a crawling hamburger on the ground, eat it, and then have my hand turn into a goddamn hamburger. I would never in a million years choose that. Never.
Like, I'm almost wondering if they were like, guys, what if we sneak in a game that people might guess if we were on PCP when we made it?
PCP.
You know
Would
they
they
were.
really know? Like, would they really know? I don't.
It's
Yeah,
weird. It's real weird.
that one weirds me right the heck out.
And then there were a few that seemed like new takes on some interesting things, like that game where I'm blanking on the name, but you're a cat in a world that is filled with nothing
Oh,
but robots.
Yeah, the
yeah.
feline simulator.
Yeah.
That was another. That was a weird one.
I mean, it's odd, but it's interesting, right? Like, none of the robots seemed happy, if you could think about happiness in a robot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Because
Mhm.
none of them owned a pet cat.
It's very dystopian kind of world, which seems to
It is
be
weird.
a theme
It's very odd.
in video gaming right now.
Couldn't wrap my finger around it. Just couldn't quite.
Yep.
Well, I think it's going to. I'm probably not going to say it, but play it. But I am interested in seeing other people play this cat simulator for a couple of reasons. But in my head, conceptually, I think of it as. Have you guys ever listened to the Daft Punk song "Emotions"?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I feel like that is going to be like the musical interpolation of that game, where you, as the cat, are the emotion that the computer is desperately seeking and repeating over and over and over again as a refrain, while the music kind of like crescendos. Like that's how I imagine that game is going to feel. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Well, I won't need to
Yeah.
play it since you've already just described it in full. So
This is just
Nailed
my
it.
brain working overtime. Sorry, guys.
Oh man.
Spoilers, you will cry.
Probably. I mean, I usually stay away from video games that have like pets in them for the most part, and movies too, because boy,
you know,
do I
you
not
know.
want to shed a tear over this fictional story right now.
I guess I'll also tell you my three favorites real quick, and then I'll
Sure.
like cede the floor so we can get into those things. But of course, actually, can I even just say three? No, it's going to be four. So I was 100% into the very brief trailer for Spider-Man Miles Morales, and I
Uh-huh.
want to touch about the controversy, quote unquote, about that later on with you guys.
There's
Super
controversy on it.
A little bit.
a little bit, nothing like bad, but just
Yeah.
people.
Just semantics, you know.
The
what I mean?
talking heads.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
and then
powerful
people who
talking heads.
and powerful talking heads, and then people who, to me, just don't think things through. Um,
So almost everyone.
yes, but we will talk about that later. What is the other one? Horizon Zero Dawn, of course.
Uh-huh.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Did they show any of that?
Yeah. That was the one where you could you were actually doing hand signals, hand Jap ninja.
Yes,
signs.
that's
Hand gestures, yeah.
right.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of the word. So that
Kind of
one,
like the old school Exorcist style thing.
Yeah.
yes, which I'm super excited about because that is where I love and live when it comes to manga and anime. I really like the Demon Hunters, Exorcist genre,
Okay.
and the like the mythological folktale type area. I watch a lot of different stuff, but that's the stuff that I really just gravitate to the most. Anyway, side story. And then, okay, I lied. I'm going to say 5. Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what was it called? A Demon Inside?
Is that the
Oh,
one? Is that the one where they had like a whole bunch of like invisible people that you could see clothes on or something like that?
no, no. It's the one where the guy was like a little monster hunter and he was hunting for the this guy who lived in like a Victorian home and he dropped a bomb and the old guy dropped the bomb in the toilet. You remember that one?
Truth be told, I'm kind of having a hard time up with that. I might have to go back and like rewatch any of
The
this.
imagery escapes me.
Yeah,
It was
there.
the one that I said I would really want. Well, you guys probably don't remember this either, but I said I would really want this as a animated movie because the art style of it was really, really interesting.
I do remember
But
you saying something like that.
yep. Let me just find a list of games real quick.
Yeah, for the listener at home, we were thinking about doing this, and we're semi-successfully pulling it off of winging this podcast without a list, but I think that's over because the list is coming.
Just to go backwards real quick, back to the speculation zone and the price. Forbes had an article on the 18th that said Sony has already made it clear the PS5's price will not be $400.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's too low.
That is too
Mhm.
low.
You can't pack that much tech in there and it be the bargain sale $400. It just ain't happening.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh man. I mean, even when console makers sell consoles at a loss, especially in the beginning, that's way too much of a loss on that amount of tech to smash in.
I
Mhm.
mean, it is supposed to be, groundbreaking, never before done tech of this size, order of magnitude that you can easily obtain in your home.
I
You
mean,
don't need all the PC builder knowledge and the amount of power that it sounds like the inside thing of this is going to have. It's borderline just a really miniaturized PC with purpose built for gaming.
yeah.
Could have said that about the PS4. Definitely going to say it about the PS5. Just due to dat cooling power, it's got to have.
Mhm.
So, Vest,
Oh
what
crap!
are
I
the other
forgot about
ones?
that one.
Okay, moving it up to
Uh,
6.
Well, you can mention it.
Yeah.
Little Devil Inside. Little
Okay,
Devil
I
Inside.
recognize the name now. Ooh.
He was skating on a penguin with a red nose.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't enthused about that one.
I still don't know what you mean, but
Oh, Kena Bridge of Spirits. That's another one that's on my list. And then Project Athia, the Luminous Productions game that's also being
yes, I
whatever
do.
by Squidix.
I do
So
remember
yeah,
that one.
there were a lot that I was, really. Oh, Godfall. Gosh darn it.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
yeah. Godfall. There's one that I'm hyped on. That one honestly looks like it has the inkling and mechanic wise of the people who made God of War, just
Kind of
by
a little
motion
bit.
movement and a little bit of how they accentuate all the detail with lighting and like certain close-ups you get during combat just to make sure you can be like, yeah, I definitely still look like a badass. Like, that's
God,
what I'm
look
thinking
at
of.
that armor glint. Ting 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 ting
God, I'm
ting.
so good looking.
Oh,
God, I'm still so good looking. Like
oh,
that's what I imagine.
the blood only makes me more handsome.
I'm excited for that one in a co-op kind of way.
It is
Yeah,
going to be co-op, isn't it?
Hmm.
yeah, it is.
3-player co-op.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it's almost like it was made for us.
Made
almost like.
Oh, man. And we won't have to wait all that long. That's going to be a launch title.
hmm
Good stuff.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, so I'm turning the floor over to you, Arcadius.
Well, there's only one that can be mentioned at this point if I have the floor, and that is going to be the new Horizon game. Good. Cannot wait for that plot goodness. Oh my goodness. Even if we say that, just if, I'm just throwing this huge hypothetical out there, even if this one is not as good, The bar is so high that it will be nothing but enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely like Horizon Zero Dawn is definitely going to take the cake. Spoilers for anyone that actually listens to our podcast. We're planning a really large podcast later about like best games and all that of the decade, and Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be mentioned multiple times, if not
Mm-hmm.
going to be taking the top spot in multiple lists that we have going forward, especially when we're going to be talking about a generation. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one.
And the other thing is, how much freaking better is this game going to look in PS5, you know, mechanics
Yeah,
and know-how? Mm,
I'm just
it's
uh I'm just really looking forward to killing a giant turtle and a big ass mammoth and all those
Mecha
things that
Mammoth.
they're all
Mega
those things.
Mama.
Mecha Mammoth.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think this one is going. So the first one obviously was Aloy's story. Kind of, it really was her own story. I
Mhm.
think this one we're probably going to be introduced to several side characters with her now knowing and knowing where her origins come from. I think we're going to start seeing more of the origins of kind of the age of where all the different tribal people are at. And I think what it's going to do is she's going to leverage her own history and be able to, like, oh, I can access this thing for you. I can get this for you. I can help you do this. And I think that's where it's going to expand out, not knowing what the game is about.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that it's going to be a lot more focused on the outward stories. And maybe there is a little more to develop on her, but I mean, spoiler alerts. So turn your ears on Horizon if you've not played it. Uh, her realizing that she is the clone of the Doctor from all the beginning and stuff, like that was a pretty big deal. Learning that little nugget of information,
Yeah.
but the fact that she knows it now, she has strange, abnormal access to the tech of the age because she is the clone of I forgot the Doctor's name. I can't remember it.
I don't
Um,
either. Let's just call her
yeah,
Claire.
Claire.
Dr.
Okay.
Claire. And so, knowing that she's the clone of Dr. Claire, and then, I mean, there's really not much more to say on that. Like, yeah, you're a clone, and you have all this access because you have the same DNA she has. Past that, I'd imagine the rest of the future games are going to have to develop in stories beyond that.
Oh yeah, definitely. What if, hear me out here, since this is a successful cloning, there are going to be other clones out
Ooh.
there.
You see, the reason I am speculative on no for that is because if you remember from towards the end of the game how the Doctor was so opposed to just unfetteringly unleashing these machines into the world because she knew they weren't stable, and you had the warring machine minds basically
Mhm. Mhm.
help wipe out the human race. She knew this, and since no one took her seriously, she individually took the precautions to ensure that she could try to help the future, and thus cloning her, getting the good side of the machines. I forgot what they called that one, or what the two sides were called, but getting the sort of Gaia Mother Earth side to clone her and keep her for posterity, so she could help mankind even after she's long gone.
So
And
what
the only
if
thing I can think of is that if the Hex one, after the fact, goes and tries to make a clone of somebody who embodies its beliefs, or like kind of like that CEO figure that
yeah.
was like, no, everything's fine. I mean, they might try to clone him because it tried to support the machines, or he tried to support the machines. So that's a possibility, but that's the farthest stretch I'd give it. I don't see it doing mass cloning.
I mean,
It kind of detracts from the mechanization of the game
this is purely speculation zone,
purely.
Yes.
Purely.
We're
And it's
we're
a fun place
just
to be, guys.
it definitely
My
is.
my favorite, since we're talking about Horizon Zero Dawn things, I'm super looking forward to this. It is on my best games list. what I really want to happen is that this game becomes so successful that they develop a Horizon spin-off based on the group of people who left Earth,
Oh yeah, that happened,
and
didn't
it's a
it?
That's right, they
and it's a
did.
co-op game.
That would be interesting.
hmm That's what Guerrilla Games. If you're
No,
listening,
whoa. Now I have changed
call
my
me.
whole perspective because I totally forgot about that part.
Call me.
What if
I
the
don't think,
space people come back?
and that's what's bringing the
Ooh.
And
disease.
now you have a merging mash of the modern age with the developed medieval sort of man cave-ish age that tried to recoup itself on Earth. That would be interesting. Ooh, yes. 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 All right, we're going to leave it at that.
So, what about you, Scorch? What else were you interested in?
Well, I'm definitely interested in the new Ratchet and Clank,
hmm
because that was a favy of mine growing up, and boy, is it still a favy of mine now. Uh, I think I would be remiss in if I did not mention, at least mention, Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Love it.
It was a good game, but if you want to dig through it, I have a different opinion on it. Um, Godfall, of course. Ghostwire Tokyo. There's some cyberpunky things that are coming out that seem really interesting. I'm really like a goddamn bug. I am very drawn to bright
Bug
neon.
snacks.
And no,
Oh,
not Bugsnax. Neon.
oh okay. Oh,
No,
okay.
Uh,
that's a big no on that one.
yeah, you know, startling lack of pants and Bugsnax really does it in for me.
You're not doing the
Yeah,
no dance pants,
I,
the no pants dance.
I'm not. I am decidedly not.
Negative.
Oh man. But you know, one of the things in general that I'm really happy about is that we're seeing content from people that hasn't been thought of before, and some of it is way the fuck out there, but it is pushing an art form in different directions. We don't have to have like shooters all the time. We don't have to have, you know, racing games all the time. It this genre, this art form, this industry that we love so much, and we've ended up actually talking about for years at this point, the three of us, doesn't have to be pigeonholed anymore. Because even though that we knew that this industry can make art in whatever fashion you could ever imagine, it is taking a little while for people to actually sit down and take a look at it and go, oh, you don't have to shoot people? Oh, there are other things than like racing cars or going on murder rampages. And I'm really excited for just the art form to expand. Does that make sense?
It
Am I like too art schooling it right now?
No, I think that's a really valid point. I would just, me being the Nintendo fangirl that I am, I would say that, um,
Oh, you don't have to step on Goomba's heads? There we go.
no, I'm just saying that there have been um, those things that you're talking about specifically, but because they're on a platform that is, considered the family-friendly console, the console that most games you can put in, put kids, sit them down and just let them go and not have to worry about anything. That a lot of those type of um, creativity or innovative ideas are kind of like not seen as much, or they could be critically lauded, like Nintendo's what is it, Labo, Nintendo's Labo
Yeah.
project idea. Like things like that, or even something like Pikmin, or um, just different ways to tell a story, um, or provide new gameplay, or to take an idea and flip it on its head, and those kind of things.
Yeah.
I also agree that it's really cool that in the more mass gamer platform and the mass gamer audience, that people are being more welcome to that on their own consoles. And so it's not, even though Halo's going to be, well, I'm not going to say it's going to be great, because studios have been a little iffy lately, but Halo has a really distinguished pedigree, and we hope that it's going to be really cool and tell a great story for Master Chief and for everything like that. That's not the only outlet for good gameplay and good storytelling that's on Xbox. You
Yeah,
know?
definitely. Well, when Xbox One first came out, they had that game Recore on it that I was kind of interested in, and it was a different take, and I think it was a launch title or close to a launch title. And it came out, and I saw a couple of Let's Plays in it, and then it disappeared. And I'm hoping that things like that will not be as prevalent. I mean, it's still going to be there. Like, you're going to have launch titles from studios that simply want to get their name out there, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's I know that there are ideas out there from companies that want to take their idea and run with it. And it seemed like games like Recore were a step in that direction, but didn't get enough traction.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that with the increased bandwidth that people have now, or I'm the increased bandwidth that I'm projecting onto the masses, rather, um, that will not be as big of a problem, I guess.
I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Okay, okay. So I'm not totally like having to like make a foil hat or anything like that right now.
No, I don't think so. What do you think, Arcadius?
I think it's fine. I didn't hear anything weird.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, what else was there? There were a whole bunch of things that I don't remember.
Oh,
Uh,
Gran Turismo.
yeah, but
New
I've
shiny
never.
cars, new shiny cars, and that's about it.
Well, Gran Turismo pushes the graphical envelope on realism,
Oh yeah, they're all
and
about that.
they did that in spades this time. Only I don't like the whole realism aspect about having to actually learn how to drive cars
In
that
order to
speed.
have fun at a video game,
Yeah,
it's like I just want to go fast.
yeah, exactly.
Is that too much to ask? Because I just want to go fast.
Boop, boop, boop.
And the answer is maybe not. No, but
Yeah.
I don't. Gran Turismo was never my game of choice. Um, but I do like looking at it because, like Sport said, it is the game that really pushes the like really shows off the hardware that everyone's talking about. Like it puts it in context and makes it make sense. All the things
Yeah,
that we're longing for. It's like, oh, you're going to see it in a game. You want to see it in a game? You're going to see it on this car. You know?
And
definitely.
everyone knows what supercars look like, so it's a good apples to apples comparison of the real world to graphical interfaces.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you almost could lick that Lamborghini that was right there.
Press X to lick.
Press X to lick. Oh man. And, oh, by the way, if you're not interested in almost getting arrested, don't do this. But my city has a Lamborghini dealership that you can walk up to and like take a look at Lambos,
I've seen that.
and you could possibly lick one
If you're careful and quick.
if you're
Ah,
careful.
I don't know about that pollen though, guys.
Oh, they're inside. Believe me, they don't just
Yeah.
leave those guys outside all day.
These cars are finely polished by the best hand polishers this city has to offer. So
The best.
there is not a single speck of plant sperm on those cars.
Not one.
Nope, it's all up your nose, making you sneeze.
Only the nose. And don't sneeze on the car. The guy will look at you funny.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And maybe ask you to leave.
Especially when you haven't submitted a credit report and asked for an appointment.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna be asked to leave.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man. So I have.
So, oh, go ahead.
Well, are we gonna keep it on topic? You were gonna keep it
Well,
on topic, right?
no, I was
Cause.
going to actually ask you about to go. Let's talk about Spider-Man real quick.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Well, Arcadis asked like, what's the controversy in Spider-Man? And I just wanted to like let him know, and anyone who's not like really paying attention to it, just give him a heads up that when the game was announced, there were many people who were like me, super excited to see the idea of a Spider-Man being a launch title, and then knowing that it's coming 2020. So that's super soon. But there are other people who were upset because they thought that this was going to be the actual sequel to the Spider-Man game,
Uh-huh.
and were disappointed in the apparent lack of Peter Parker in the game. And then there were people who were upset because they thought this was just going to be DLC and not an actual.
Oh no, full game. What a terrible thing.
Well, that was kind of made worse by what, the Sony CEO or something like that, having some like weird information that had to get walked back, right?
Mm-hmm. And now, don't tell. I honestly don't remember what he said. I just know that it was incorrect, and that Sony had to come back and say, no, it's not DLC.
Yeah. People were likening Spider-Man Miles Morales, this new one, to more along the lines of like an Uncharted Lost Legacy than like a what are we oh my godding about?
I'm in a game.
Okay.
Oh. Did the monster get away, Vest?
No. I missed my hit twice in a row.
Gotcha.
Sounds like someone's gotta get good.
Not efficient.
But even if it's something in the scope of Lost Legacy, I played that game. It was like a good 10, 15 hours of story, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a small game.
And it was a lot of fun. I just see this game as being. It probably started out as DLC. This is my speculation. It probably started out as DLC, and then
just grew too big for its britches.
Basically, and so they were like, okay, well, we can make this bigger, stronger, faster, and it's going to be the bridge game between Spider-Man 2018 and the next Spider-Man title featuring Peter Parker.
And console gapping.
Yes, and console gapping. That was the other thing. People were like, it's not going to be on PS4. And I'm like, yes, it is.
You think we'd leave you all behind? And
you think they'd leave all that money behind?
And if it were me making the decision, the answer would be yes. But it's not me making the decision.
You would not be leaving all that money
making
behind.
a decision.
If I got a cut of that money, probably not. But as it stands, I'm not getting a cut of that money.
So the decision stands.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh man.
But that's essentially it. Like, they have the install base. At launch, no one owns a PS5.
That's
How
true.
many people own a PS4? That
Several.
game is going on PS4. That's why I say you just not thinking things
Millions.
through. Just going to Reddit and listen to your little friends talk and sit when you should be listening to DerNami Gaming.
Yes, we know everything.
Sorry, I couldn't hold it in.
Oh man. I'm optimistic about the future.
Yes.
And that's a hard thing to say nowadays, but I am optimistic
Yeah.
about the future. Even when I'm lost in this goddamn cave.
Should have come outside.
Probably. I have a couple of news items that I want to hit that are not PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation 5 announcement.
Do it.
Okay. So the first one has to do with the money vacuum Star Citizen.
I still don't know why that game exists.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't exist.
Well, I guess you are technically correct, which is the best kind of correct.
Futurama reference.
Mm.
They okay, Star Citizen hit another monetary milestone, making it the most expensive video game endeavor in history, raising $300 million for the IP.
That is mind-boggling.
Yes, that
I got
is.
a bridge that I can sell.
Like that is it is hard to imagine that people have willfully spent that much money into an unofficial game that cares not for you for that long.
Yeah,
Like that's just ridiculous.
yeah, it is. I really, I'm worried. I'm worried about it. I'm worried that I'm not, because I haven't invested anything in it. So, like, whatever happens, it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna point and laugh either way.
I worry for those kinds of people that they could be putting that money elsewhere and benefiting a lot of other better games than the garbage that is Star Citizen.
Well, it hasn't been proven that it's gonna be a garbage game yet, or anything like
But
that.
it's not even a game yet. Like
It's not.
their
No.
their plans right now are to perpetually say, "Yeah, we'll be done eventually," and then that's it.
Yeah.
The
Like,
amount of embezzling
yes,
that is going on right now.
is high.
Like I don't know these people. I'm just
You
talking
don't even
smack
have
right
to
now.
know.
But the amount of embezzling that is happening right now is ridiculous.
Like,
Like where is that money going?
eventually you're gonna like run aground of the law, right? Like if you keep taking people's money and not delivering a product.
Oh, but where is that envelope? Nobody knows, and they're gonna keep on going.
But the game is in alpha.
Yeah.
We're still
Nice.
refining. Look,
30
that
years later, well, the game is still officially in alpha.
You've
That-
raised $2 billion.
It's an
They-
alpha.
Still an
it's just
alpha.
there's someone just got like a $50 million bonus. You know
What
what I
they're
mean?
doing is playing with federal fire. That's what they're really doing. They're towing the line of federal fire, and they're like, guys, how filthy rich do you think we can get right now? And they're like, bruh, push it all the way.
Max out
And
that
they're
slider.
Yeah, they're just going. Like, who's going to tell them no?
Not the people who are waiting for the game, apparently.
Okay, those people, massive air quotes, waiting for the game, know that the game will never come. Like, they've been playing it forever.
Well, I have a different take on that. It's similar, but it's different. And it's that the game that they're playing is the hype train.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
they don't want to get off the hype train because now they're invested in
Because the
this
only thing
idea.
that's left is disappointment.
Yeah, they're worried about the consequences of getting off of the hype train.
Both them and the company.
And yeah, and it's scary, man. That's expensive as shit, dude.
And how foolish would you feel if they up and decided one day, yeah, we've run aground of some federal laws we broke, so the game is permanently closed.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the people that would lose their literal minds over that? Believing that they were contributing to something really big and trying to, like, basically get some personal and public kudos for helping develop the game with funds, only to be shown the middle finger. It's like, yeah, you made these people filthy rich, they're going to jail, and you'll never see your money again.
Yeah. Definitely.
Like, what
You
the
just
hell?
got Ponzi'd. Like,
Yeah,
hard.
like, what the literal hell?
I think the other really dangerous thing is that they will complete something, be it the like standalone campaign, or some kind of weird No Man's Sky type
Mm.
quote unquote completed gameplay loop, and then release it, and it is going to result in a class action suit.
Or the entire studio and everyone in it burning to the ground.
Oh,
Hypothetically, as in burning to the ground, meaning they ran away to the Bahamas forever.
No, I mean people being angry and burning it to the ground. Literally
Also a
burning it to the
possibility.
ground.
too
Ah!
soon.
Is it too soon?
Also a stark possibility.
Oh, so much water. Go up. Up, 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 up. Don't drown. Okay. Another piece of news from a different kind of company that we love to hate, EA, and their
Hate.
newly leaked / announced game Star Wars Squadrons.
Alright, so I watched what they've shown, and it's just literal cinematics, except for a teensy little clip where they actually show gameplay, and half the screen is cockpit. And they are probably going for a slight realism, but so far it's only been confirmed that it's 5v5, and the game's only $40 from EA.
Yeah.
So what is that going to say?
So
Like, they're not even trying to squeeze a full 60 out of this guy.
No,
so
here's
even
the
if
deal.
they are convinced they can't do that.
here's the deal with that. This feeds into this announcement. This game is going to be completed at launch with no DLC and no microtransactions.
Is it a
Press X for
VR
doubt.
game?
No, it's not.
No, I don't
Okay.
think it is.
Could be
That-
VR adapted, but no, it's not initially a VR game.
I was just thinking about like the $40 price tag, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm almost wondering if that's the case, if that is actually true, I'm wondering if this is like EA's apology game of, we're sorry for being such dickweeds, and maybe we'll make one game that proves we can do one without microtransactions.
And then
And
put
then
all
they'll
the
just-
microtransactions back in.
In another game,
Yeah.
twofold. So whatever the next game they come out with will be like microtransacted twofold.
Battlefield microtransaction.
Well, so of course this is me speculating about things that I don't know about, and probably am not qualified to talk about. But that's what podcasts are for.
Definitely. Especially ours.
Especially ours. I see that price point and that level of fidelity in graphics as EA's Hail Mary to keep their Disney contract.
You think that's what it is?
And when I say Disney, I mean specifically Disney Star Wars, but their Disney contract. I do.
I could buy that.
Yeah,
And
I think so.
I don't know how well the last Battlefront sold. I don't know what their player count is, although I'm sure it's a little bit higher now, at least on PS4, because it's the game of the month, or the free game of the month. But I imagine it is not the mad fat stacks of cash, billions of dollars that EA probably promised Disney.
Yeah.
And Disney money is, even though Netflix may still be on top of Disney right now, and I'm not really sure. Disney money
Like,
is still
for the weekend.
yeah, it's still like a holy grail, I'm sure, in licensing and business partnership. And EA
Wants
probably
all of
wants
it.
to, yeah, they want to keep it in the same way they want to keep their FIFA licensing deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is that this is a type of game that's too big to fail for EA. So
Ooh.
it may be pleasantly surprising with how it turns out in the end. However, the amount, I say that like in a perfect world situation, but knowing EA's track record of interference in game development cycles in different studios and stuff like that,
And just general mucking up of everything.
Yeah.
yes, that if it turns out to be a flaming
Failure.
trash heap in the sky, I wouldn't
In
be
space. A
surprised.
trash
Yeah, in
heap in
space.
space.
I
That's
really
a
wouldn't be
space heap.
surprised because they're really trying to bilk the money out of the games right now, or milk the money out of the games right now, and
Hmm.
it really interrupts the creative and development process for these game studios. Like you can see it in the end results, and I just don't under I don't understand. I mean, I do understand that mindset, but I don't understand the mindset of pouring all of this money into a game and then making it fail when you could put out a quality game, it do well,
Honestly,
and
okay, go ahead.
then when you build that fan base, those people are still going to spend money on it.
So I actually think this is exactly par for the course for EA. They're a short-sighted company that wants the quick money. They try to tell you they want the long money, but they've effed up so bad that all they can do is struggle from quarter to quarter to ensure the shareholders get their money. And so right now, they'd probably be in such dire straits in both PR and in actual gaming revenue that they want one thing to try and instill some modicum, an iota of, well, what's the word I'm looking for? Trust in the company. I mean, that's a super far throw. Like that word is the EA and that word don't go together, but they're going to make an attempt to instill public trust and go, shareholders, look, we did a game that goes against what we want to do, but it's what everybody else wants, and everyone likes it. And to try and basically reel in the shareholders, and at the same time, like Vass said, possibly reel in that Disney IP to say, look, we did a modest expenditure game, and it had really good margin gains for the type of game that we developed. And they go, see, and then right when they're done with that, they'll be like, all right, time to get some real money. And then they'll go back to being dickish, and they'll pull some $60, fiasco again, and then everyone's going to be like, what the hell, EA, you didn't learn your lesson. Then they'll get pounded again, and then they'll basically be back in the same boat. But I think they're doing a short-term appeasement to multiple parties for multiple reasons, and they figure they're going to be clever, and they're going to knock out several birds with one stone. But that is not going to change their permanent outlook on how they make games, develop them, launch them, or handle them.
That's a pretty solid analysis. I think I agree with you.
It's all about the money. If there's anything we've learned about EA, it's all about the money. So if you follow the money trail, right now it's sitting in investor laps. And they're the people that they don't want to be angry. You won't like investors when they're angry.
That's true. Oh, there was this is a tangential story, but which company was it that they said that this person, the shareholders said that this guy is making way too much money? Hold on. I think it was with a gaming studio.
I vaguely remember
Really?
what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're like,
I
this guy
wanna-
makes too much money.
I mean,
remember
that
it
would
hit
be
the
the
news.
CEO of EA.
Maybe it was EA, but
Andrew Wilson? I think
Wilson?
that's
Yeah,
his-
the CEO of EA.
No,
The fact
it's
that
not
he
that
was getting
guy.
payouts when the company was doing frickin' awful.
Ugh.
let me see if I can. You keep talking, but I'll try and find him real quick. Oh, Activision CEO.
Oh, well, I believe that.
What's that guy's name?
It's Bobby Kotick. Last year, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick ranked among the most overpaid chief execs in U.S. according to their shareholders. He earned more than 28.5 million in 2019. Um,
Wow. That's base
90,
salary. Is that base salary or everything with comps?
hold on. 92% of Activision shareholders voted in favor. Wait, no, that's not it.
This was
That
recent, like, right?
Yeah,
Like
this
within
is
the
a
last
recent
two
one.
weeks or something like that.
Yes, this is really recent, and they actually said that it's too much. I can't find it.
I mean, that is a lot of money.
I would
Maybe
not.
no. This guy's face looks right.
I remember a rich bastard's face.
Yeah. You rich bitch.
Oh, hey, you guys, you know what game we have not mentioned that I just remembered, and it's kind of interesting, at least to me. I don't know about you guys, but it's the game where that guy is stuck on an island, and the whole deal of the island is he's trying to get off of it, but people pay to get to the island to hunt him,
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
and he like dies and
Isn't that like some Westworld
respawns.
stuff?
It's like it's made by the guys
Oh
that did
no, and on the
Dishonored.
island, yeah, so that on the island there's also like this crazy chick that just loves to hunt you, and that's all she does.
Yeah.
She's an assassin that only lives on that island to hunt you, but you don't know why, and part of the game is to figure out why the hell she hates you so bad that she just wants to hunt you every day.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the one by Arcane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks interesting. I think I'm gonna play that one. It man, the guy moves around, well, both of them do, move around so much like Dishonored that it seems like I don't want to say it's in the same universe because it doesn't really look like it's in the same universe, but it might be in the same universe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Oh my gosh, this is a ravine. Holy smokes.
Oh,
I found a fresh ravine, and when I mean fresh, I mean
fresh. You
fresh.
found a freshie?
Deathloop.
Yep.
Deathloop, that's the name.
That one, while that game is probably going to be a little too intense for me, so I probably won't play it. But it is so stinking stylish,
It is.
and I really enjoyed the presentation of that game. I enjoyed the one that when it was originally announced at E3, like was it E3 2018 maybe, or 2019, whichever one. But I really like this trailer and like the 70s like vibe, like
Yeah, definitely.
not noir, but that kind of
Like
70s vibe to it. I
the
really enjoyed
the
it.
the huge sport jacket and the tiny jeans kind of thing that they had going on
Mhm.
that I associate so much with the 70s.
The way that you could like combine your pistols to make a bigger gun.
That was pretty
Yeah,
clever.
that was
The
pretty
way
cool.
that you could pick people up and throw them around. Yeah, it was really cool. It looked really cool. Oh, before I forget, I'm going to cross back to that. Crap. Did I just lose this?
Maybe.
Don't lose
No!
it.
I mean, it's still there. The internet has it.
Yeah,
It hasn't gone away.
look at your history unless you went incognito and then now you're
No, it's
screwed.
on my phone.
Then you probably lost
Do,
it.
do, do,
Hold
do.
on. Okay, yeah,
No.
no, this was the right thing. So it was. Investment Group says Activision CEO Bobby Kotick gets paid too much. That's what it was. PC Gamer 2 weeks ago. I think this was actually on maybe Forbes or the New York Times as well.
Dude, if
Um,
Forbes says you get paid too much, you get paid too much. I just need to throw that out there.
Definitely. Yeah.
so
If the
I'm gonna.
bean counters of the fiscal world say, "Yeah, you got a little much there, buddy," like that's you should probably dial it back.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read from this article really quick, again on PC Gamer. Over the past 4 years, Activision Blizzard CEO Robert Kotick has received over 20 million in combined stock option equity per year. These equity grants have consistently been larger than the total pay of CEO peers in similar companies. Weisenegger wrote. Specifically, over the past 4 years, Kotick has received 96.5 million cumulatively in combined stock option rewards
Wow.
alone. In 20
Jesus.
in
Holy
2019,
smokes.
he received over 28 million in combined equity, primarily consisting of options that were substantially in the money, quote unquote.
Wow.
However, while equity grants that exceed the total pay of peer companies would be objectionable in most circumstances, it is of special concern in this case because Activision Blizzard employees face job insecurity following layoffs of 800
Yeah?
employees in 2019 and typically earn less than one-third of 1% of the CEO's earnings, with some
Good
employees,
lord.
such as a junior developer, making less than 40,000 a year while living in high-cost
Are you
areas such
serious?
as
They
Southern
live in
California.
40,000 a year is all a junior developer makes?
In California,
Ooh,
Oh, that's
in
even worse.
that's
California,
nothing.
that is
Dude, that'd be like
nothing.
making 20. You'd make less than a janitor being a junior developer,
Yeah.
bar none. Holy smokes, dude.
Yep.
No
So
wonder
That's
they're so stressed.
that's
They don't
so
make a
scummy.
living.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's just say that you can get in federal trouble if you're raking in that much money and then you say, yeah, we need layoffs. And it's like, hold, wait. The
Yeah.
company just dished out all this extra stuff, which you can only get when you have profitable margins. If you have profitable margins, you're not laying
Yay!
your body of employees off.
Danny's
So
here.
hey,
there is that.
Danny,
Hey,
Welcome.
we just mentioned you a couple of times.
because we
Back
hurt you.
when?
Yes, yes. Oh boy. Oh boy, that's too much money.
Yeah,
That's a lot of money.
and it goes to, if that's the compensation package, that's fine. But how are you compensating your CEO this much money and then laying off 800 people from your company?
Yeah, that's fiscally, ethically, and morally wrong.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wrongs in that. And you
Hmm.
don't have to be a bean counter to know that either.
Hmm.
Definitely not. Danny says she loves us.
We love you too, Danny.
Agreed. Agreed. Where would we be without you?
Still 100% nameless.
Yeah.
Did you have another news story, Scorch?
No, those are the two that I wanted to hit. I'm sure there are a few things that we haven't hit. We could, you know what? Our freshly tuned in asset, Danny, we could ask her what
Ooh.
her thoughts about the PS5 announcement were, because I would
Which you
love
can
to
start
hear her thoughts.
typing now.
Yeah, we mentioned Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank, Godfall, the way the
Horizon.
Horizon, the way the PS5 looks. We talked about the price point of uh like
Why we justified the price point. All that
yeah,
too.
optical drive versus non-optical drive, if there was anything like that. We talked about storage space. Oh my gosh, so much. Danny says she loved it.
Indeed.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Boop, boop, boop. She says Horizon was her favorite.
Mm-hmm.
You are not alone. I think I think it takes the cake in all of our favorites, maybe?
In
I would
some way,
agree.
shape, or form, there
Yes.
is a side note. Yeah, gonna play that unequivocally. Like, yeah.
Will play. You already
Will
have my
play.
money.
Yeah, absolutely. The money is prepped and ready.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think right now, well, no, I take that back because I did pre-order Ghost of Tsushima. But right now, Guerrilla Games, Insomniac, and Square Enix are the only places that I'm actually pre-ordering from. Like,
Okay.
that's it. Sight
Yeah,
unsound.
if
Sight unseen,
there's
rather.
there's other ones that make me skeptical about pre-order, but Guerrilla Games has proved to me they may have
Yes.
and possess my money
I
In
would
before
like
advance!
in
I would
advance.
I would like to put another one on that list.
Oof, another one?
Danny says Ratchet and Clank was cool also. And yes, that is another game that will play, especially because there's another Lombax. Hell yeah. Uh that other company is Studio Santa Monica.
Mm,
And that
boy.
is the God of War guys.
Hmm.
Mm.
I wouldn't be mad at
Studio.
another one once I finish the last one.
Yeah, I believe a certain somebody, before you are allowed to enjoy another, must enjoy the current.
Well, why don't they make a game that I enjoy?
You
What
stopped
kind
before the
of
best part, Vast.
what kind of game? Hold on.
You literally stopped before the
Hold
best
on.
part, Vast.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. What kind of game would you like them to make then, Vast?
A God of War that I want to play.
Well, what is that?
I don't
Talk
know, but it
talk
wasn't
us
that.
through it.
If I rolled my
What
eyes any harder right now, I would strain my eyes and I wouldn't be able to see out of them for a week.
Oh man.
Like eye strain is a real issue right now. I'm on the verge.
I'm just kidding. Like I enjoyed what I liked some of it. It was cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish it before the PlayStation 5 is launched, maybe. You know,
You
Press
it's
have a
gonna
X to
limited
happen.
time.
doubt.
That's happening this year.
It's gonna happen. I really do want to get through
Mm,
it.
mm,
Well,
I played through other games.
listen,
I can get through
Vast.
this one.
don't change the topic, Vast. We're on one topic right now.
However much it does pain me to know that you dropped God of War at one of the most pivotal moments in that entire
And
game,
scenes. Oh my god.
like right before the like mid-season hook of that game.
Mm,
Well, does
I
that have something to say about the pacing of the game?
I I don't want you to have to ruin the idea of it further for you by making you play that game as if it were homework. Because that will absolutely destroy your idea of
Well, let
whether or
me take
not
a
you will like it.
well, let me take a step back and say that I loved the first God of War.
Okay.
I played the second God of War, and I purchased the one that they had for the PS Vita.
Okay. Like
I
Chains of
got off,
Olympus?
yes, whichever one it was. I don't remember, but that one. Um, I got off the God of War train for God of War 3 on the PS3.
Okay.
Um, for the same reasons, I feel like just listening to people discuss Last of Us 2, non-spoiler discussions, but Last of Us 2, I feel like I was pushed into making decisions immediately that I personally, even in a game, do not want to
How?
make.
Like what?
I had to put out a God's eyes with my thumbs.
Oh, in the third one.
Yeah, like immediately
ah.
in the game.
Yeah.
Like I like that is
So
a
you weren't
bridge too
ready for
far
it,
for
basically?
me. No, I
Didn't
played the
see it
first two
coming?
games. I know how brutal God of War is, but they like wanted to elicit a response rather from their gamer, and they wanted to make use of different parts of the controller to bring you further into the game. I
Mm-hmm.
totally understand that. I don't want to put someone's eyes out with my thumbs, and I don't want to
You
simulate
don't
that.
you don't want to wiggle the
Uh,
sticks inside somebody's like god eyeballs?
No, no, not at all.
I
And
mean, I'll
I,
buy that. I
That,
completely understand that.
by the way,
It's not for everyone.
That's such a Tom thing though. He ate that like crazy. He ate it up.
I and that just went to show that I was not a target audience for this game.
Okay.
Um, in the same way that an Xbox was never targeted towards me. Like I am not the extreme bro kid, right?
Yeah.
Never have been, never will be.
But
And I feel
but
like
Vast.
again, listening to non-spoilery discussions of Last of Us 2, it feels like some of that same type of decision making was being made for that game where you as a player were playing this really specific story that the dev studio wanted you to play, and it
Mm-hmm.
took you down paths that maybe if you had a little bit more autonomy as a character that you didn't want to take, but you had to take them anyway.
So you're telling me that you'd like a God of War RPG?
No, I think that they should have upped their pacing a little bit, not waited so long to give you my chains, and
Vash,
um,
you're right there. You're literally at the doorstep to get your chains.
but I was
You
at the
stopped the
doorstep,
cinema
and
before.
Yeah,
The
I was at the
really.
literal cinema
doorstep,
scene before.
and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Vast, vast, vast.
But I think I need
That
to go back and try it
that
Yes.
because
listen,
I know I did some things wrong with the game.
that first fight with Balder
Was amazing.
was
It's worth
perfect.
it was worth the price of admission. I said that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have said that over and over again.
yeah.
Yes. Now
I
keep
will
going.
absolutely.
The admission is still valid. Like, like the admission has not gone away. It has not expired. It is still admittance one. Good for the finishing of the game.
Oh man.
And I'll probably get to the end of it and I won't tell you guys you're right. But I'll be like, you guys may have
I
had
don't
some-
need you. Yeah, I don't need you to say that at all. I just want to hear, guys. I completed God of War, and that's all I need to hear.
Yeah.
That's it. That you
Like-
don't have to say a word. You don't have to, even if you despise the stupid kid you have to lug around like I did. You don't have to say a word. Just say I completed the game,
Yeah.
and all will be well.
I'm not gonna hold it against you if you didn't
Mm-mm.
do the trials in Muspelheim or killed every
Ooh, those
Valkyrie.
are tricky. Those are tricky. Not even I
Yeah.
completed those. I gave up when I was trying to do all the Valkyries. I think I had 2 or 3 more, and I was like, nah.
I completed the Valkyries, and I know Danny completed all the trials in
But yeah, because she
Muspelheim.
freaking platinumed it.
Yeah, she
Awesome,
platinumed it.
Danny.
My God.
That is dedication right there.
She's a beast.
She is. And she's also currently playing The Last of Us Remastered so that she can play The Last of Us 2.
The next one.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I'm very glad I listened to those spoiler-free discussions and mentioned those while she's here because they were spoiler-free.
and Danny, ow. Danny brings something up though that she wonders, and she put it in more of a statement, but I'm going to frame it like a question. She says that you don't like linear games? Is it like the
So-
linearness of it that gets to you? Like,
No, I don't think that's it at all because I actually enjoy. I put it like this: when it comes to RPGs, I actually enjoy a JRPG more than a Western RPG because in a JRPG, generally, you are the character and you are going through the world and exploring the world and understanding your place in the story. Whereas in most Western RPGs, you are making like specific decisions because it's an I, me, kind of game simulation. That's just how I see it, right?
mhm.
Now, I mentioned that you're being driven to make decisions in the game that you wouldn't necessarily want to make. I just feel that in like God of War 3 specifically, I as a gamer should have had another option to not simulate putting someone's eyes out.
Like a physical option? Like, no, Studio Santa Monica, I'm not gonna twiddle
Just
the
press
sticks.
skip and let the cinema push his eyes out.
Yes, like I
Okay,
did not
I'll buy that.
appreciate that. I had to put someone's eyes out. I understand that it's a game, but they were putting me in the position to physically
I think I see
Mimic.
where the problem is now. I get it.
putting
Yep,
someone's
yep, yep.
eyes out. Like, and I mean that like that's a specific example.
Okay. All right.
So I also take it that the thumb controls for the brothel house scenes were also not to your liking.
those were on a scale of like, whatever.
Funny you guys.
Like that was less. I don't even. Well, you know what? Offensive is not the right word, but it.
I know.
I didn't have
I got you.
I didn't have the same type of visceral
yes
turn off reaction to it.
Yeah.
I got it
again
now.
me
Yep.
physically putting someone's eyes out because they weren't like conceptually. It wasn't you. It wasn't you commanding Kratos to do that. It was you physically doing that. Like I still remember on screen, it's from the first person view.
It is for the
Yeah,
first person
it
view.
is.
Yeah, and you are pushing your thumbs down, and that is controlling his eyes. So I was being put in that position. I didn't appreciate that at all, Studio Santa Monica, at all. But I'm not the game's target audience. Why you wanted to do that? I mean, I don't know, but
I mean,
it was a different time.
it was, and it was a game of that time,
Mhm.
And there's no eyeball stick twiddling in this latest God of War.
Mhm.
No. No twiddles.
No,
Only
no
hack and
twiddles.
slash.
Not to belabor that point, but that is just, and that has nothing to do with God of War 4 at all. That was just like me saying that I actually came back after that very visceral reaction to the third game. Like that scene happened, I packed up the game and I took it back.
Wow. Okay. Because I think at the end of so truthfully, I didn't really ever actually play God of War 3. I watched my buddy Tom play God of War 3.
Both of us did.
And I think he got a charge out of that scene similar to drinking an energy drink.
Yeah. But everything about God of War he loved anyways. So that was pretty much just par for the course of completing the, I guess, excitement he had for the game to begin with.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
I
just going to
guess-
say that he rode the normal high and wasn't expecting being able to be a part of something that dynamic.
So twiddly?
Yes. He wasn't expecting maximum twiddly.
And to use a turn of phrase that's come up multiple times, it seems like Tom is more the target audience for that particular game.
Yes. He is very much. If some game developer would have been like, "Hey man, what kind of game do you want?" and Tom would have told him what he wanted, and then the guy was going to be like, "I can do better than that," and he does something that's even better than that.
Yeah.
Then he's just sitting there like drooling on himself the whole time.
But that's really what it comes down to. It's like who you are as the developer, like what cool ideas that you want to do, how you want to actually make use of these things, these different technologies that you actually have. Because even I could say it's clever, like that was a clever conceit.
Yeah. And it
but
was
it's still something that I don't.
It was super all the rage to do things like that with video games when it came out.
It was. There was a series of time where games had very direct input buttons, and I think wasn't one of the more beginning ones, the Call of Duty, where you had a lot of individual button controls that you had to do something in a linear fashion in order to keep progressing.
What, like
I
quick
could've
time
swore
events or something like that?
Yeah, that was the first one that I remember having a little more of like a personal touch to them. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure there's several others that a lot of other people could comment. Oh no. Well, you see, actually, these 18 games had that same thing. Okay, sure, fine.
Uh-huh.
Mainstream games.
Well, listen, my thumb still cramps up when I think about the ending of Guns of the Patriots when you had to smash circle so that old Snake crawled through the electrified hallway for like 20 minutes and you had to smash circle as fast as possible or he'd just collapse and shock himself to death. So I totally get where you're coming from, man. Oh, man.
Well, that definitely took us off of PS4.
It definitely did.
Bringing it back around town.
Did you want to? Do you have something to say?
I
about it?
don't. I assumed we had more to say,
Well,
but no, I enjoyed the entirety of their show was enjoyable. I don't mind how the console looks at all. I am a little concerned with how effing big it is to fit like under the little TV stand that I've currently got, because it's probably bigger than my friggin' router right now. But no, I think it's gonna be fine.
yeah,
Looking forward to it. Got the money ready. Going to get several games.
yeah.
The only debate now that I want to know is just how backwards compatible, if at all, it is, because they still haven't finalized that yet, and I'm assuming all the details will come out in full on launch day.
Well, CD Projekt Red said something about Cyberpunk being backwards compatible if you bought a certain version of it, um, specifically with PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but honestly, I don't think backwards compatibility is something that they're going to be pushing, and especially not as hard as Xbox has been pushing backwards compatibility. I think that is why
I just see
Sony
them
has
having too
invested.
easily of an ability to run an emulator to give the backwards compatibility.
Well, I
Like I
think
just believe it's so easy to do that if they didn't do it and Xbox beats them to that, they're gonna feel like they've really undersold something.
I think what they were trying to do is future-proof that whole idea by investing in cloud gaming and having like PlayStation Now, where you could rent games and stuff like that. I think that's their answer to backwards compatibility. And they might be too far into it to actually be able to back out of it at this point. So,
With as much power as the PS5 is going to have, having the emulators for those older games should be like child's play.
well, this isn't about like having the ability to run an emulator or not. This is about them investing in technology and having to bring it forward. They already invested in this thing. If they dropped it, that would be a huge division that they'd have to get rid of. And they did it specifically for this one purpose, and that one purpose is to future proof the idea of backwards compatibility. They wouldn't have to do that anymore. As a matter of fact, the emulators would probably have to exist anyway if you wanted to play them rented in the first place. They're just trying to get rid of the idea that you had to hold on to all of your previous games in order to access them anymore.
But that just is counter to the fact that, oh, you own this game, but you're going to have to buy it or rent it again in order to play it.
I don't have the answer for that one.
I think
I'm
that's the crux of the backwards compatibility argument for gamers is, hey, I've got this whole library of games I really enjoyed playing on these previous consoles, but now you're telling me in order to do it I have to buy them again or rent them again.
No, that what they're really going to be saying is you don't have to buy anything. You just have to subscribe to this service, and then from now on, you will always have access to it. But I think but I honestly think it's a moot point at this time, at this point, because in my opinion, the whole reason that they have an actual drive in this PS5, that there's the drive version, is because it's going to be backwards compatible at least with the PS4. At least with the PS4. I don't know
Mm.
about PS3.
yeah,
I really
yeah.
don't.
I figured it was also there just for a Blu-ray player too.
I mean, if you wanted
Yeah,
that
but
functionality,
and some people still do, but at this point, like we're basically all streaming. Like,
yeah, definitely. Which feeds into their idea of PlayStation Now again. It's not like I'm going to be using that product or anything like that. It's not like there are many people that are actually going to be using that product anyway. It's the stance that they've taken. Like that's all there is to it. That's the stance that they've taken. And the silence stretches on for ages.
but I mean, I think that next month we'll probably see another PlayStation event. And at that time, they'll reveal um, maybe price.
You
They'll
think
do it
so?
before Labor Day. Yeah, they'll do if they don't do it in because you have to have enough. Like Arcadis was saying, they're waiting for at least some good news, you know, to come out or to help people worry less or whatever. But they have to give people time to like pre-order and put that shit on layaway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because right now people are not really in the mode to spend a bunch of frivolous money.
yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
Except for me.
I
Except
mean,
for
the
Best.
only frivolous money that I am in the mood to spend is for PS5. So,
Mm.
I mean, there's your answer. Just tell us the
Hmm.
price, and that money's
Hmm.
yours. You know what I
Ask and receive.
mean? Danny asks, which PS4 game do you guys want to play on PS5? Are there any games that like you'd want specifically backwards compatible?
Not for PS4. I want PS3 games.
What would you pick up for PS3?
All of the Gundam games that were awesome for PS3 that I can't play that they haven't made any good ones for PS4.
Well, I got some sad news for you about that.
Oh, I know.
They've made good Gundam games for PS4. They just never localized them.
Yeah.
They're all stuck in Japan
Yeah.
land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You when did you buy into the PlayStation 3? It was after the first gen, right?
Oh, when did I get a PS3?
Yeah, 'cause the
Like as
like
soon as I went to college.
the first PS3 was totally backwards compatible. And then after the first generation they dropped that
Well, so that
functionality.
first generation was a really limited run, and once people figured it out, they tried to basically buy them up, and by then they're like, nope, 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 they're not backwards compatible anymore. So we're literally talking about the span of like 2 months of the initial releases, and even then, 2 months might be a stretch. It's the literal first mistake batch. I'll call it mistake batch because they walked back its backwards compatibility really fast. They actually never intended it to be backwards compatible, but a specific firmware release allowed it to be backwards compatible, and therefore those suckers sold for big aftermarket money. But I never was able to get that. I came on the tail end of that window ending after the first couple of months by the time I got settled in college and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Trust me, I wanted one.
Danny says, "Oh, Japan, never localizing your games."
I know. It's terrible.
Is it though? I
To
mean,
me, it is.
Gundam fans are suffering. There are a couple of RPGs that I've always wanted to play that were never localized. Um, I can't think of them right now, but well, actually, let me take that back. I think one of the Breath of Fire games never made it over here that I really wanted to play. Um, yeah, stuff like that. Games that you would consider more niche, but still had a relatively big fan base.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I worry about all of that is more damage that they could be doing to the idea of localization by releasing poorly localized versions. People are less likely to invest in a subpar product that, people don't put out the time and effort to do correctly. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yes.
Except for Arcadius, who will play it regardless.
Yes.
But like, you remember Gundam Crossfire?
I do.
Yeah, I knew it. That game was super jank when it came
It
to
was a little clanky. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little clanky.
it was I don't even want to say a little. It was like super jank. And especially when it came to deliverance of voice lines or something like that.
Oh, well, that
It
was hilarious. Like that was so janky, it was funny.
I the idea of that it kind of like put me off to the idea of localization in general for a little while.
Killed it for you.
Yeah. And that wasn't even when I was super big on like I was more of like a passive gamer at that point. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about the industry. I didn't, sit down to jabber on a podcast that tens of people listen to. It was just one of those
Mm-hmm.
things that I thought, "Oh, that sounds awful. I'm not doing that again." And for the most part, that's how the rest of the industry, that's how the rest of the patronage is.
I know. Don't remind me.
Oh man. Well, it sounds like we're winding down. Do we have anything else to say?
I don't think so. I don't have any other stories.
I'm all out.
To add to the list.
Hmm. All right. Well, I guess this is the end for now. Um, some of us now have more time than usual, so you might see us streaming a little bit more. Um, this is the end. If you like it, share it. If you don't like it, you may be on your way. Uh, we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for listening.